I lived 2 summers ago for 3 months in the chaotic yet secure environment of a domestic violence shelter. The day my boyfriend of 1 year made an attempt on my life was the same day I had the honor of interviewing, see this is hard, for my first college scholarship.
Take your time.
It's good that I'm doing it now so I can work through it before we do it there. The cognitive dissonance between this very positive first experience and then almost losing my life by an act of relational betrayal forced me to ask myself some hard probing questions. Have I earned acceptance, sustenance, and sorority, or am I deserving of abuse, deception, and death? Which part of these polarized realities is really me? And the most important question, who is going to save me if not myself? I can see that the world contains a panoply of options and avenues for women, some leading to advancement and others to destruction. Many of these based upon roles prescribed for us, based upon class, race, and definitely gender. But perhaps the ultimate deciding factor was me. Instead of falling prey to the victim mentality and the powerlessness that a passive mindset of acceptance of devastating situations encourages, I've been striving to understand my part, my agency, in both the positive and negative manifestations that are created in my life. To back up, I am a dislocated homemaker from the Midwest. I married at 19, had a succession of 3 children all in a row, and spent the majority of my life in a traditional and somewhat satisfying, though very limiting role of loving and caring for those children with a Christian mindset. But what does a woman such as myself do once the children are grown and her husband divorces her for a younger woman? Apparently she goes out into the world and becomes a marginalized subject, or else she rises. But in order to rise, first you must fall. And I fell several times. I fell into homelessness, I fell into hopelessness, I fell into bad relationships. But then I fell into college, and that is where I began to rise, and that is where I'm still rising. My hope is absolutely found in my education. However, the tradition for victims of abuse and betrayal to self-blame and to start to re-identify is real and strong. And I did that too. That summer, 2 years ago, while staying in a domestic violence shelter with my head reeling from trauma and betrayal, I received a call one morning. It was a call from Atlanta, Georgia. The call was from the Jeannette Rankin Foundation. I had won or earned my first college scholarship. I'm going to try to put into words what that meant for me at the time. It was happy. It was so much more than just the money, which was absolutely important and necessary, but it was something more. It was a vote of confidence. It was a force of positivity and affirmation that caused an energy shift in my spirit. The scholarship was symbolic in the sense that I no longer felt quite so alone in the world. There were women out there who believed in me. I had a sisterhood who cared if I lived or died, who cared what became of me. You see, I had one ballot on my life that had voted no. No matter how sick and messed up and absolutely wrong my boyfriend had been, his act had reset my identity. And now I had another ballot from healthy, smart, educated, successful, and socially involved and aware women who would I aspire to be. And these women said yes. These women said that my life and my strivings to become a better person, my hard work, courage, and struggle to not go under had merit and value. And because of that vote, in addition to the money, because what is money but symbolic, positive energy that opens doorways, I was able to carry on, lift my head and say, no, I am not that. I am this. Yes, that happened, but this happened too. Jeannette Rankin Foundation calling me that day made me feel like more than a shell-shocked, traumatized, middle-aged woman, post-divorce, displaced mother, lost on her own, staying at a safe house at age 45, wondering how in the hell did this happen to my life. I didn't just have the one reality, which was a bad choice in a boyfriend, a very, very bad choice in a boyfriend, a day-to-day struggle with poverty, a naivety and lack of worldly awareness that made me question if I really knew how to make good decisions for my life, if in fact I had what it took to make it in this world at all. In my mind now, I also had a separate and more positive reality that I could cling to like a life raft. I had a 3.94 grade point average and a group of women who believed in my potential, an organization that was willing to bank on it. JRF seeing my potential increased the ability for me to believe in my potential. Just like that, it was a vote for my life to continue in hopes that I could create more of the good and less of the bad. Every time you award a scholarship to a low-income woman who likely has not had many opportunities to believe in herself and who has likely been knocked around a few times by the world, you throw that woman a life raft. You assist a woman who is quite possibly sinking fast from one form of oppression or another, who is in very real danger of drowning. You counteract the weight of whatever personal or social issues she is struggling against, likely on her own, and you are making her more buoyant. Thank you for that buoyancy. I learned many things while living in a Honolulu safe house that summer. For instance, I learned that 50% of women who stay in a safe house go back to their abuser. There are many complex reasons for this, but one very important part of it is financial and economic dependency. As a gender and women's studies major, I take classes that inform me about women's issues as related to domestic violence. Classes like gendered violence over the life cycle. My goal is to use the knowledge I am accumulating to empower women. The vision I have for my future is that of being a bridge, assisting women transitioning over from disempowerment and confusion to empowerment and clarity. My immediate career goal is to utilize my degree, being an advocate for women, either through a domestic violence shelter or in first response alongside police in answer to 911 domestic violence calls. Yet my long-term plan is also to apply to grad school and earn a master's degree in social work. This will qualify me to become a clinical social worker. Let's see. Glad I'm reading through this. This will qualify me to become a clinical social worker, in which place I can further assist and transition those who are in struggle. I am tremendously grateful to the Jeannette Rankin Foundation and its donors for supporting the important cause of creating educated and empowered women. The vote toward a better life you have shared with me, in which I deserve this and not that, I will most definitely be paying forward. Thank you.